Close your eyes and imagine waking up one morning. But something feels wrong. The ground beneath your feet is breathing. Smoke seeps up from the earth. Silent, colorless, but deadly. Then a voice. You must leave this place. Forever. This is not a movie. Not a legend. This is real. The story of a town that burned, but was never put out. Welcome to Dark Hidden History. Today, we unearth the quiet tragedy of Centralia, Pennsylvania. Centralia was once a small, peaceful town, like many others in America. Nestled in the Appalachian Hills, it was home to about 100 or 200 people in the 1960s. A place where children played in the streets, where smoke curled from chimneys in winter, and neighbors knew each other's names. But some refused to leave. They became known as the holdouts, people who chose to stay, not because it was safe, but because it was home. To them, no one knew that this very coal, the town's lifeblood, would become the spark of its death. Centralia was not cursed. It was built on the fuse. Memorial Day weekend, 1962. The town's volunteer firefighters lit a small fire, just to clean up trash at the landfill. They'd done it before, but this time, the fire didn't die. 6. Beneath the landfill was an open seam of coal, dry, vulnerable, waiting. The fire slipped in like breath into lungs. Weeks passed. Then the ground began to steam. Cracks opened. A strange smell filled the air. Metallic, thick, sour. People didn't know what to think, but something ancient had awakened. A fire that would not rest, and Centralia had already started to die. By the 1970s, the change was visible. Roads warped and cracked hot to the touch. Basements filled with smoke. People fainted inside their homes. Centralia was no longer safe. Then one day, even the sign fell. Centralia didn't burn down. It faded. Experts were called. They measured the fire, studied its spread, and they came to one grim conclusion. This fire could burn for another 250 years. Centralia wasn't just dying. It was sinking, slowly, into a furnace beneath the earth. Pressure mounted. The government stepped in. Between 1983 and 1991, more than $42 million was spent buying homes, demolishing buildings, and relocating families. Centralia was being erased, house by house. But some refused to leave. They became known as the holdouts, people who chose to stay, not because it was safe, but because it was home. To them, a house wasn't just walls and roof. It was memory, identity, love, and they would not abandon it. In 1992, the state invoked eminent domain. Centralia lost its zip code. Just like that, the town was officially gone. They remembered spring fairs in the field, church bells, the sound of baseball games. Some stayed because to leave would be like erasing their past. Their fathers' hands in the mines, their mothers humming in the kitchen. The school emptied. The church stood silent. One by one, the places that held life were torn down. Not just buildings, but memory and meaning. If I leave, she said, I'm not just leaving a house. I'm leaving who I am. For some, home isn't a place. It's a heartbeat. Then one day, even the sign fell. Centralia didn't burn down. It faded. Today, only a few remain. No schools, no stores, no churches. Just cracked streets, empty lots, in the silence where voices used to live. And yet, smoke still rises. The fire still burns. Somewhere below, quietly, patiently. Visitors leave their marks. Graffiti on the old highway. Names, memories, prayers for a place most never knew. A strange memorial to something still burning. Centralia was once a small, peaceful town, like many others in America. Some began to ask, why didn't they just put out the fire? Why spend millions to erase a town instead of saving it? The answers never truly came. Only more silence. One theory said the coal beneath Centralia was worth billions. But as long as people lived there, the land couldn't be touched. Burn it, buy them out, and mine it later. Others whispered, Centralia wasn't just a fire. It was a test site for underground fire control, for evacuation policy, maybe something worse. Or maybe it was a distraction from something else hidden nearby. No one knew that this very coal, the town's lifeblood, would become the spark of its death. Centralia was not. Centralia was once a small, peaceful town, like many others in America. Nestled in the Appalachian Hills, it was home to about 100 or 200 people in the 1960s. What if Centralia wasn't just a town? What if it was a warning that what we bury doesn't always stay buried? And sometimes the fire we ignore becomes the fire that consumes us. Centralia was once a small, peaceful town, like many others in America. Nestled in the Appalachian Hills. If I leave, she said, I'm not just leaving a house. I'm leaving who I am. For some, home isn't a place. It's a heartbeat.
More stories they tried to erase.